Okay, people and places. Yes, this is me at City Grill, Abuja, and yep, it's night time. It's about 8 o'clock, and yep, let's see what they've got in here. And we'll just this is nightlife in Abuja. So this is supposed to be a place called City Grill, and let me just show you a little bit. Okay.
Okay, are you
okay? We've just gone on a bridge going down. Okay, well, this is the outdoor. We'll see what the inside looks like. This is where we just came up from, and I believe that's the restaurant there. Okay, still people and places with Dr. Mama K, and I'm still at the City Grill with my favorite people, family, Uncle Richard and Sister Onyon Ubalili. And we've just had a meal. For those who watched the last episode, they interrupted our interview, but we're just going to round up now. There's been so much to eat, so much to drink, and let me go back to the birthday boy now. So Uncle Richard, I know we were speaking earlier on about your childhood and so on. Let me now go into your profession and career. Why did you choose to become an architect in the area of career you're in?
Wow, that's where somehow maybe it won't be easy to completely abandon my childhood, because the whole thing I managed there.
Okay.
During my childhood, we played a lot, like I said. We got involved in different types of plays as children. My parents, being farmers, led us into how to do some village kind of crafts, like mat with which they build their thatch houses, all those things. My father would bring them home, and would join him in forming the mats which he used to use to cover the different bungalows for all his wives.
Okay.
He had four wives.
Okay.
That's your wife. I'm from a polygamous family, and the essence is to have enough hands to assist him in the farm. So from there, I started liking the act of constructing and building houses, and the act of making those mats, the way it comes out eventually as a house and all that is interesting to me. And of course, the way the internal spaces are also partitioned based on the kind of functions required they had to play. From there, by the time we finished primary school, got into secondary school, I attended more of a technical school. So they called it a grammar school, but
a technical school.
Yes, we did all those subjects we need to do in grammar school. Then we also studied things like technical drawing, woodwork, and that kind of thing. So it's a kind of opened me up to those materials that we use in construction. And I liked working with them, like wood. I learned from that period, I learned about timber seasoning, wood seasoning, and then the different properties of wood, and of course other materials like metal. We did all of them, chemistry, physics. So they kind of made me get more interest towards architecture.
And you studied a little bit in Bulgaria. Tell us about that.
Yes, when we got to Bulgaria, of course, we left Nigeria on scholarship, government scholarship. When we got to Bulgaria, well, unfortunately for me, I was also involved I was a footballer in secondary school. And the kind of game we were playing, I was also part of the advanced physical education team. We were doing somersaulting, dive and roll, and all sorts of things. So here in Nigeria, I sustained the injury on my hip. But when we got to Bulgaria, of course, they noticed that I wasn't working well. Because of that, I was taken into the hospital to go and check me up. Eventually, they arrived at the fact that they have to do some surgical operation to correct the problem they saw with my hip. With that, I lost my first 1 year. That was after language school, when others were going into the universities for their core courses. I had to spend that period in the hospital. After that, in Bulgaria, before you can study architecture, you must show that you have the skill for arts. You should be able to must pass fine arts before you are allowed to study architecture.
Okay.
So the whole lot of us who said they love architecture and all that, we were sent to go and learn, improve our knowledge of fine arts, and then take the exam. So if you have minimum of what do we call it now? Not good, very good, or so let me use the word. If you had very good, then you'll be allowed to go on with architecture. Otherwise, you continue with either civil engineering or some other allied courses. So when I couldn't join them the first year, I was sent to where I studied building construction, and architecture. After the 1 year there in technical school where I did building construction and architecture, I had to come back to Bulgaria to sit for the fine arts exam.
Right.
Fortunately for me, I passed and was allowed to now continue with my architecture.
So you as an entrepreneur running your own business, what have you been mostly proud of in you running your business on your own? And what has been the most challenging bit for you as an entrepreneur?
Okay, as an entrepreneur, a lot of challenges. Let me start with the challenges. First of all, coming from the Eastern Bloc, where I studied in another language, and of course where basic building materials were a bit different and all that. When I came back here, I first of all had to go through some form of orientation with fellow colleagues from architectural and building and civil engineering sector. So from there I was able to have an idea of the kind of typical materials used here for construction in Nigeria and their standards, their measurements and all that. So of course, with the guide I had from colleagues, I was able eventually to begin to conceive projects and even go into building construction.
Okay.
Well, the first 1 or 2 years were quite difficult, but I was able to now form my own kind of freelance architecture. From there, I was able to build up my own company and then started practicing. And of course, you have to also first of all go through the professional examinations here in Nigeria to actually prove that you can be called an architect. Yes, not just going through the theoretical things in school. So after that, I was able to begin to practice with fellow colleagues, both civil engineers, builders and all that. We formed a kind of team of builders. So that's how I was able to run it. Then again, of course, I had my wife being an architect who was then employed. She was practicing her own from the office where she was. It helped me a lot because many a times, even when I didn't have time to do the design, she was quite excellent in
Helping you with the design
doing
work.
the design jobs which we used to get. And then after doing the design work, if the client so desire, I now go to site to implement. So I was more into construction
Right.
on site than design. You know, of course, I was able to develop. I was able to create good interest to some of these our businessmen, traders at Idumota and the Lion and the many of them. So they were able to give us some jobs. Which I was traveling from Lagos to go and execute at Nnewi, Umudim, all those areas in Anambra State. I was working both at Adazi, at Onitsha, and
Okay.
back there in the Enugu too. So those things helped a lot to build me up or build up my company. Then later in the years, when some banks, or rather government gave some banks some, what do you call it? They were asked to build up some level of state of vision for themselves. Apart from building up their capital, they have to have minimum branches.
Okay.
You know, they have to spread out in the country. So we eventually went into branch expansion projects, and we were able to work for some banks, you know, like Intercontinental then, and then Eco Bank, UBA,
Okay.
and all those banks. We are now working for them. It turned out to be better because they appreciated professional job more than the traders we used to work for before. So that helped us a lot too to build up until eventually banking industries started collapsing. That's how we now shifted
Again. Okay. Well, I would have loved to keep asking you more and might still come back and ask you. I know we're at City Grill celebrating your 70th. So do you want to say a few words of encouragement to anyone, just to close? To anyone that you feel your mind is telling you to speak to. As Baba 70.
Yes. Well, it's quite interesting to really be born, go through childhood, then go through adolescent age, and then become an adult, and then mature to 70 years of age. My advice is that, first of all, for you as a child, you need to be very, very obedient to your parents. You have to, because a lot of things are learned from your parents, from the home, even before school. So after that, by the time you are going into secondary school, you would have been formed a kind of, from certain policies that come from your parents, why you must be humble, why you must say the truth, why you shouldn't be lying, why you shouldn't be too playful, So it's very important that you should be obedient to your parents so that you will be properly cultured for future challenges.
Right.
It's that parental upbringing, I think, that prepares somebody very well for his future challenges. But by the time you get into secondary school, maybe going to boarding school, you are no longer with your parents. You just have to cope with whatever assignments being given to you, whether academic or even physical. Sometimes you may have to go to clear grasses and all that. Sometimes, like my own school where we didn't have pipe-borne water, we travel to kilometers to fetch water for your senior to bath. And you still have to also take your own bath. So those challenges You are not supposed to be a stubborn or a truant. By the time you're able to cope and meet up with those ones, then you are better prepared for the future challenge as a man. Because when you now become a man, there are a lot of things that will be facing you. Issue of your career, how you're going to be able to build up your career. If you are not an obedient person, and if you are not an obedient person, somebody who carries out responsibilities as directed and all that, you will not be able to work with anybody. You will not be able to excel with whatever assignment you are going to be handling. So it's very important. Then of course from there you now begin to talk about marriage. And for you to marry, you have to be a real man. And to be a real man means you must learn to be very responsible. If you are not responsible, then it's difficult to have a family, culture your family and all that. And then learn how to manage home, cope with your wife. Women's special attributes, should be able to cope with them, know how to handle them, so that there will be peace and harmony in your home. And of course, by the time children are coming, you now have more and more challenges to face. So my advice is that people have to be, first of all, very, very respectful, very humble themselves, get determined on how to face the responsibilities that are coming at different stages. Awesome. And by the time you're able to do that, eventually you just have you come. By the time you are 70, you will be addressing yourself. They will now be calling you Baba. Baba. And that Baba means so many things. A man that has matured. Yes. A man that has grown, become responsible, known around, not as an irresponsible person, but a responsible, somebody to be respected. So it comes with a lot of respect. But that respect, you have to earn it. You don't just expect that it comes anyhow.
Thank you so much. Of course,
you have to be godly too.
Okay,
that's the one that crowns it all. Because for you to be able to achieve all these things we've mentioned, it also has to be through God's grace. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Well, that's all we've got time for today, and we'll be right back for more people and places. Thank you.
Thank you.
Architect Richard Omobalili at 70 and celebrating at City Girl. We'll be right back.
Thank you. I'm very grateful for hosting us all the way from South Africa to Lagos, from Lagos to Abuja, only to come and host me. That's wonderful. You are a wonderful lady.
Oh, praise God.
With your husband, you are the only, I would say you are the only family I can say I have today. Around me, my wife, a lot of encouragement we've gotten from you so far. The assistance has been wonderful. I'm lucky to have really gotten married, gotten involved with a very responsible and respectful family. A family that appreciates, that is very humble family. A family that is very peaceful, and a family that is also godly, you know. A family that is also godly. It's not easy to accept somebody from another tribe, your own tribe. And for me, I've been very lucky. I would say I've been very lucky to have gotten into the family of Adebayo's family from Ondo State. It's been a very lovely thing for me, and I believe that is the rock, that is the basis for my own achievement in life. So thank you for coming.
All right then, thank you. God bless you. We'll be right back.